What's up, man? It's Lots on Puck. Today's video, we're going to be discussing a 96-year-old elder talking about her life growing up. So it's going to be a really interesting video, and it's about an hour-long video, but just stay with me on this because she goes over a lot of good detailed stuff that a lot of people don't know about. She's dropping a lot of gems in this video. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the video because it's a long one. But just stay tuned, and if you want, just break it down. Do it 30 minutes one day, do 30 minutes the next. But you want to get all the information from this elder because she's 96 years old and she's dropping a lot of gems. So let's take a look.
All right, Granny, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Can you? I've always known you as Granny. Can you say your full name and how to spell it as well, please?
My full name is Christine Garner.
Chrisistine.
That's the way I spell it.
Garner.
Right.
And Granny, do you remember who? Let's start with your grandparents. Is that who you remember first? You know who they were and their names?
My grandparents was my mother's grandparents was the name of Bud Gibson. My father's name. Oh, you want the father's name?
Yes, please.
My father's name was Turner Murphy.
Okay, those are your parents, or that was your grandparents?
No, this is my father. My father's name was Turner Murphy.
Turner Murphy.
Moffett, M-O-F-E-T-T. Moffett.
M-O-F-E-T-T. Moffett, okay. And then your mom's name was?
My mother's name, her name was Essie Moffett.
Esther Murphy.
S-E-S-S-I-E. M-O-F-E-T-T, the way I spell it.
Okay. And where were you born?
I was born in Ringo, Louisiana.
Ringo, Louisiana. And is that near New Orleans?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, it's quite away from New Orleans.
Okay, and do you know where your parents were born?
Beg your pardon?
Do you know where your parents were born?
They were born in Ringo, Louisiana.
What did they do for a living?
Oh, they worked on a farm. They raised cotton, corn, peas, potatoes, all things like that.
So here we have it. Another indigenous elder saying their family being a farmers. We already know that by the census record. So all these stories of the three videos I've been showing so far, they all come up with the same story of how they was farmers raising their own land, had plenty of food. So there it is, you know what I'm saying? And it's good that we got the elder speaking on this because, like I said, it backs up the census record of our people.
And what we had to eat, we mostly had to raise it.
Do you remember living on the farm?
Well, sure, I remember living on the farm.
Do you remember your grandparents?
Yes, I remember my grandfather. I don't remember my grandmother.
Do you remember his name?
William Gibson.
William Gibson. And what did he do?
He's a farmer too on a plantation.
So do they own their own?
He owned his own plantation,
I heard that.
Own place he lived on, and that's where he did his work from, like planting different things for to have to survive.
And how come you don't remember your grandmother?
My grandmother passed before I was born.
Before you were born.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about your grandfather?
I just remember him being a hard-working man, raising a family and make sure that, everything went well on the plantation.
And he raised the same thing, peas and...
Oh, peas, corns, and potatoes. Cotton.
Cotton.
I hear that.
Peas. Everything mostly we ate, we raised it.
They want picking cotton forcefully.
Things that you
raising it
was
and
there any
selling
livestock? Was there any cows as well?
Oh, yeah, he owned cows and horses. He owned all of that. He had his own cows and horses. Mm-hmm.
And then he passed that down to your parents?
Beg your pardon?
He passed that down to your parents, the farm?
Oh, yeah, after he passed, well, when my grandfather passed, my mother and her sisters and brothers, they carried on, until everybody started going different directions. From down there, start from going like I did when I left from there, going to different places. We didn't all go to the same place, but went to different places.
And your grandfather, that was from your mom's side?
That's right.
Okay, and then so what are some memories you remember? What's your earliest recollection growing up on the farm?
What do I first remember on the farm? Is that what you're asking?
What's the first thing you remember growing up as a kid?
Oh, I should remember my family and things they were working and my mother and father was working and raising different things for us to have to survive.
How were times back then? Did everyone have farms? Was everyone flourishing?
No, not everyone had farms around there, but most of them did.
Most of them did. Y'all heard that.
If you were a farmer, were they pretty well off, or was it more middle class? Like people that owned their own farms, did that mean that they were
My
rich?
grandfather owned his own plantation, his own land. He owned it there.
Y'all hearing it?
So was that considered rich back then?
Oh, well, not always considered rich, but still well off. Well, you didn't have to go to the white man and because that's who owned everything in them places, because I come from the South, you see.
Y'all heard that? See, if you own your own land, your own stuff, you don't gotta go to the white man for help. And that was the case with a lot of our people. That's the real reason why when African got them slaves, it ain't been that many. Because we had our own. Which you can verify that by the census record. You're gonna see all your family was farmers. Who was the slaves then? See what I'm saying, man?
But my grandfather bought his own land, and his children worked at that land and raised different things on that land. That's the way to survive.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were around there, so you said that's a few things you remember. What's like I would say one thing that you remembered as a kid growing up on the farm? Did you ride the horses? Did you farm? Did you work help out with the land as well?
Well, I did some work out in the field, but I never was a person that my mother only had me and her. I just did it like I wanted to. I'd go in the field and work sometime, but we only pick cotton and do whatever was necessary because of what time of year it was, because they do the planting around April, and they harvest it around in the fall of the year, like cotton and corn and whatever we raised that year. Then I would go out there and do it, but I never was compelled to do no hard work on it when I was on the farm.
Do you know what did you guys sell it? Was it sold to the cotton and the other?
Oh yes, when it was raised, you raised your cotton and pick the cotton in the fall of the year, like September. That's when the harvest would come off, for the harvest thing back in them days. And you would pick cotton and take it. They had a gin mill. You would take it and it, take it there, and you could sell it and get paid for it.
Like I've been telling y'all.
What about?
There's 3 videos I don't show y'all of the indigenous elders saying they would get the cotton and go sell it. It was business. But school want to keep telling you that picking cotton was that meant you was a slave, which wasn't true. Not all of the people that picked cotton were slaves. You see what I'm saying? This is why it pays to listen to your elders. I'm telling you.
Horses? Did you know how to ride a horse?
Well, sure, I know how to ride a horse and a mule too.
A mule too? People can ride mules?
Well, sure, I did. Sure, my daddy had one.
Did you go fast on a horse when you rode it?
Beg your pardon?
Did you go fast on a horse?
Oh no, I didn't go fast when I was riding it, but I did ride. They wouldn't. I wouldn't let them go out of trot. We call them trotting that time, just going along, not going real fast, just trotting along. That's what we call it in them days. But not real fast, but not too slow either.
How old were you when you first rode a horse or a mule?
Oh, I was about 5.
5 years old?
Yeah, my mother and father were raised. I remember things when I was 4 and 5, when I was 5 and 6 years old.
What are some other things that you remember when you were 5 and 6 years old?
I remember the field, going to the field with my dad and mother and them, when they would leave me at home in the bed, and they'd get up and go to the field. And when I got 6 years old, I'd get up and go over in the field where they were.
Wow. And did you go to school in Ringo as well?
Yeah, sure, I went to school there.
What was the name of your the elementary school you went to?
William Chapel.
William. And what back then was everyone mixed together?
What you mean by that?
Like where was it? White.
Oh
black,
no, no
Mexican?
white and black didn't mix in them days. And the facts about it, when I came up, my father had his own plantation. We was way away from town. No white was even right around us.
Oh, there was no white people around.
Not right around here, cause he owned a lot of the property where we would come up on.
Y'all hear
He had a
that?
big plantation.
How did do you know how your grandfather was able to own all the big plantation?
No, I don't know how he owned it. When I got old enough, he already had it. I didn't ask him how he come by it, but I know he had to buy it. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not gonna go into that because I don't know how he came by it, but I know he had it.
So how many people lived on the plantation?
Oh well, it's over here. It was a big family. My mother had about 6 or 7 of us with her brothers and sisters.
Okay, so there were 6 and 7 brothers and sisters you had.
I don't have any.
Oh, you don't have any.
I don't have sisters and brothers.
You're only child.
I'm a mother and father only child.
But you had a lot of uncles and aunts.
Yeah, she had sisters. She had quite a few sisters and brothers.
And they all lived on the plantation as well?
Oh yeah, they lived on the plantation. He had that who worked his land. It's probably his own
Y'all heard
children.
Y'all heard
So
that?
can you help?
The children was working the plantation. See what I'm saying? This was a lot of stuff was going down back then. But I said that's why I said the school system want to keep that certain narrative going to try to confuse you. But we got all the elders speaking up, and it's not going with what they're trying to teach in school. Which we already know, school is indoctrination. But there it is right there. I'm showing you.
On a plantation, is it one house? Is it 2 houses? How does that work?
Oh, yeah, there's more than one house. We had there was Uncle Blanche, SG's. There was 4 houses on the plantation.
4 houses. And it was divided by each family? Each brother and sister had their own house?
Yeah, some of them, yeah, Uncle SG, but Uncle SG, after he got grown, he had his wife and his family. He had one of the houses. My Uncle Blanche, he had a wife and a daughter. They had a house, and then my grandfather, he had a house. My mother and father, they had their place.
Do you remember how your mom and dad met?
No, I don't know that. I don't know how they met because they were married, and then they had me after they were married. I don't know when they met.
Now, you were talking about that there was not a lot of white people around you where you lived. How big was the Ringo or the area that you lived in? How many people were around? The town, was it?
No, it wasn't a town. We was out in the country. It was a country. Country wasn't a town.
Oh, there was no town.
No, it wasn't. No, we wouldn't have been having the places for the crops and the things not in town. We was out in the country.
And how many people were in the country? You said about 30?
How many is it? Oh, on his plantation. You talking about on his plantation around where I live?
Yes, around where you live.
Oh, boy, I can't tell you. There's a lot of people where I came from and lived. They had their own. Most of them had owned their own land anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't none of my father and mother's places. They had their own places.
And the owners of those plantations were black as well?
Beg your pardon?
They were black or white owners?
What owner?
Yeah, the ones around the other, because your grandfather owned that one, but the surrounding plantations.
Oh, there was another family owned their own land, outside of my grandfather's plantation. There's a couple more people had. Maybe there was Uncle Chesmore and Uncle James Adams, and all them had their own plantation. They had their own land.
So I say we was poor. They had none.
And how close were you? Because you said when you went to school, it was segregated. You didn't. When was the first time you saw it?
It didn't have to be segregated because it wasn't anything back there where we were but us. We would all go to school. There wasn't no white living back there where I were.
Oh, there was no white people at all.
Oh, not right down, not right around us there. They were some of a distance, but not right there where we were.
So the elementary school you went to, how many kids were in your class? Would you say?
How many what?
How many children were in your class? Like kindergarten in elementary?
Oh, me in my class. I don't know. I don't even remember how many of us there were, but there's quite a few of us.
And they were all just from the surrounding area.
Oh yeah, everybody lived there. You know, we had different schools there. Just the school we went to, but they had another school about 2 or 3 miles away, and the kids on that lived it down that way went to that school. And the people who lived near the plantation where my father lived, that's the school we went to.
And the teachers were they white at the schools?
No, they was out. They was black. They was my race of people.
And as far as let's go from elementary to middle school. Was it the same middle school as the elementary school you went to?
They was.
The middle school and high school, was it the same school when growing up?
No, we didn't have a high school. We down there where we live, we didn't have a high school. When you finished the 7th grade, you had to go to Shreveport, Louisiana, to a larger town. That's where you had to finish up your school in there.
And so is that where you went?
See,
to
that was in a city. I wasn't in no city. I was raised in the country, the country place.
Okay.
But when they graduated from the school, what was down there where we were, we had to go to Shreveport, Minden or somewhere where a larger school was, and they were teaching higher grades.
Right. Let's go back to your parents. How was your father and mother? Did they have a temper? Were they happy all the time?
Oh, well, nobody happy all the time. They had their ups and downs just like everybody else do. But yet and still, they were nice people.
Did you ever get spankings growing up?
Very few. Because I always afraid of whoopings. I didn't like whoopings. I tried to do what was right where I wouldn't get into trouble.
Okay. And so can you remember what's a funny story maybe that happened, like a couple stories when growing up with your parents? Is there anything?
Did I do what?
Like a couple stories that stand out in your mind. Because you said you remember a lot when you were a child. Do you remember like a certain story that happened? Anything that you can recollect, any type of story about you and your parents, maybe your mom. I don't know. Like for me, I can remember putting my hand on the stove and burning it because my mom told me, "Don't do it, but go ahead and do it," since I wouldn't listen. Was there anything like that where you can remember?
No, I always afraid of whooping. I was a pretty good child. I didn't do too much to get in too much trouble.
So once you got to middle school, did you go to Shreveport for?
No, after I finished my schooling, I didn't go to. I was gonna be going to the 8th grade, and when I got to the 8th grade, before I got to the 8th grade, I was married. I didn't go.
Now, when is your birthday? When's coming up, right?
My birthday is May the 21st. I was born in 1919, May the 21st.
May 21st, 1919.
Right.
So that means you'll be 97 this year?
If I live to see May the 21st, which a couple more months, I would be 97 years old.
What do you want for your birthday?
Beg your pardon?
What do you want for your birthday?
I don't have anything I'm wishing for my birthday. I've had everything anybody could wish for a birthday, and now I am very happy. If I live to see it, fine. If I don't live to see it, I'm like looking for a home on high.
Now, like, let's go back to middle school. So you said when you got to 7th grade, you had to go to Shreveport. Did you go to Shreveport for school?
No, I didn't go to school in Shreveport. I stopped school down there.
No, but you said that once you got to 7th grade.
When you finished the 8th grade, you're going into the 8th grade. That was high as they were gonna teach down there. So they went. You would go to Shreveport, and they had a CC high school there. That was the name of it on Peabody.
And is that where you went?
No, I didn't go. That's how I went in school.
Oh, that's the highest you went.
That's how I went.
So after you did that, what did you do after 8th grade?
After I did 8th grade, I got married.
How old were you when you got married?
I was gonna be 18 on my next birthday.
You were 18 when you got married.
I was gonna be 18 on my next birthday, which is gonna be May the 21st.
Okay, let's talk about your husband. Can you tell me his name?
What?
Your husband, his name?
My husband's name?
Yes.
Edmund Garner.
Edmund Garner. And how did you guys meet?
We met at school. We went to school together and to church together, and it was a community of people. We didn't live too far apart.
Was he your same age as well?
Beg pardon?
Was he your same age?
No.
How old was he when you got married?
He's 7 years older than I were.
Okay, and then what did he live on a farm as well?
Yes, he lived on a farm. His own people had their own places.
So when you were 18 and you got married, were you excited? Were you happy? What were your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I was happy. Sure, I was very happy.
And so when you got married, did you go live with him on his farm?
My mother had her own place and everything, and his mother had their own place, so we had a place to go.
Okay, and then but from middle school to high school to 18, there was like 4 years in between. What did you do in between those 4 years?
What question had you said?
Because you said the education went up to 8th grade, and after that you got married when you were 18. But 8th grade is 14. So in between middle school and the time you got married, what did you do in between there? There's 4 years in between. Do you remember doing anything?
Ask her after she stopped going to school.
Yeah, after you stopped going to school, before you got married, what did you do?
When I stopped going to school, I got married the next year. Before time for me to go back to school, from the country to Shreveport, where I was gonna go into high school. Where they're gonna have a high school there.
Okay, so it was just a year difference. It wasn't that much time that went by. And then when you guys when you married Mr. Edmund Garner, and you guys he had his farm. When did you have your first child?
Oh, it was by the time I got married, it was about 3 years.
3 years. And how much longer were you in Louisiana before you came to Los Angeles?
I came from Los Angeles in 1947.
She got good married too.
I arrived at the Union Station downtown on the 14th day of December, 1947.
She knew the exact date
And
at all.
why did you
That's
and
crazy.
your husband decide to come to Los Angeles?
My husband was in service. And my mother was already here working. And I had a lot of more people here working. People left from down there coming here to find jobs and was here working. And my husband got discharged from over there on Tunnel Island, San Pedro.
Wait, you said your mom moved out to Los Angeles too?
Hmm?
Your mom moved out here, you said?
Oh, my mother's here before I was.
Oh, and what about your father? Did he
My father and mother wasn't together. They separated before I got grown. They separated.
Oh, they got separated.
Mm-hmm.
Did they remarry?
Each one of them remarried.
And then, so who lived on the farm while they got remarried? Because it was your mom's.
My father didn't never like the country too well. After they separated, he moved to town. His own self and got a job there and worked.
How old were they when
I don't remember how old he was. They got old how old they were.
No, I mean, how old were you? I'm sorry. When they
How old
separated?
was I when?
When they separated.
Oh, my mother and father separated when I was 6 years old when they separated.
Oh, so you were really young.
Oh yeah, they separated and I was real young.
And then when your mom remarried, how old were you when she remarried?
When my mom remarried, I don't know. I don't got her year that age my mother got married at, but I was grown.
Are you already grown?
She wasn't gonna marry and put nobody over me. I was grown. I married first.
Oh wow! So your mom was single from the time you were 6 until you were grown.
Well, sure, she wasn't gonna put no man over me. She wasn't gonna marry nobody. That's while I was growing up.
Well, now I'm a little confused on the. So when you were 6 and your dad and they separated, was it you and your mom that lived on the plantation?
Yeah, we lived on my grandfather's plantation.
I see. Okay. And then what did you said your mom moved out here for jobs. What happened to that plantation?
You beg your pardon?
What happened to your grandfather's plantation?
What happened to it?
Yeah, because you said your mom moved out here looking for work.
Oh, well, my mother came out here, you know. So, what did you ask me now again? What did you ask me about? What did my mother do? What?
Yeah, well, she moved out here, but what happened to the plantation?
My mother married again after her and my father separated. Mm-hmm.
What happened? Do you know what happened to your grandfather's plantation? Is it still there?
Oh, yeah, it's still down there.
And did your family still own it?
No, yes, some parts of it.
Oh, some parts of your family still own it.
They still down there, some of them.
Have you? When was the last time you were there?
Last time I was at home?
Yes.
Well, yeah, that we went to the family reunion, Latanya.
I think 2001.
2001. Wow. Is it the same as when you were growing up?
Oh, yeah, everything is the same. A lot of places, a lot of people I moved away from there, but yeah, it's still it's the same.
And then growing up, what was your interaction with was it just the two races? Was it just black and white down there? I know where you were
Yes.
at, it was mainly black, but the surrounding areas, there were some white people.
Oh, yeah.
And how was the relations between white people and black people over there?
Well, it wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad. Everybody knows where they should know. Everybody understood, how to get along with people. I'll leave it like that. Nobody bothered anybody. Everybody minded their own business.
That's how it should be
So
today
you didn't
too.
see any racism growing up from white people,
Oh, there was lots of that going on.
but nothing around you.
Oh, no, nothing around me. Cause see, I didn't have to live around them. Cause my father had his own. My grandfather had his own plantation for us to live, raise whatever we had to raise. We didn't have to work on them. That's why I say that, because some people had to work on their places, but my grandfather had his own place. We didn't have to do that.
Did you feel different when you were around them growing up?
No, I didn't feel any different around them, because I didn't live right up on the end of them.
Right.
I didn't have to deal with them.
Do you know if any of your family members have to deal with that?
Oh, well, not really, because like I say, my grandparents, my grandfather had his own plantation. We didn't have to work up on them like some of the people did. We didn't have to work. We was our own bosses coming up working in the way we had to work.
Mm-hmm.
We did it. He did it.
Yeah, I hear.
He gave us the orders what would need to be done. My mother and my uncles and thing. He gave them the orders what to do on the plantation. They know. And they were raised there. They know just what it takes, what time to plant, and they know everything. They know how to take care of the crops, what they were raising. So he didn't have no problem.
Now let me ask you a question. When your parents separated when you were 6, do you remember that when they separated?
Just like yesterday.
Were you sad? Like, what were your emotions going through your head?
Oh, well, I tell you, in them days, it didn't matter to me. I was young. It didn't make me no difference. But as much as I remember now, I wasn't sad over it.
Okay.
Cause for a long time before my daddy left and went to Shreveport, I could see him regularly anyway, and so I don't remember being real sad about it. As long as I was with my mother, I was happy.
And you saw your dad a lot as well, you said?
Oh yeah, it wasn't no. I could see him anytime. He didn't ever. He was always gonna come around. He didn't just because they separated. He was gonna see that I was okay.
Did your dad have any more kids?
Had one son.
One son. So you had a half brother.
Mm-hmm.
You remember your half brother at all? He'd be
Oh
younger.
yes, I remember him.
Is he still?
No, he's gone. He passed away a few years ago.
Did you guys stay close in touch with each other?
Oh yeah, we was good. We loved each other. Sure, we brother and sister love.
And your mom, I know. So you were already grown when she married. She didn't have any more children.
No, my mother did. I'm my mother's only child.
Okay, and let's go back to your mom moving out here. You said there were more jobs out here, but she didn't want to live on the plantation anymore.
No, everybody wanted to go somewhere where they could make more money and enjoy life better.
Okay, and then do you know what she did when she came out here for work?
No, she worked in the shipyard down there. I don't know what she was doing. Maybe she told me then, but I don't remember it now.
Do you know what year she came to Los Angeles?
I don't know. I got here in 1947. She was here a couple years before I came. So
And did you have any? How many children did you have when you moved out here?
I have two, just like I have right now. Them two girls. What you see here.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then, did you work when you came out here? Because your husband was discharged from the was it Army?
This Navy.
The Navy, and then he came out here, and then what did he do for work?
When he came out here, out here, he did construction work for a while, and then he started working for the city.
And did you work as well, or you just stayed at home?
Oh yeah, I did a lot of work, but I did housework, private homework.
Where did you said you first came here on the train station at Union Station?
Right.
Do you remember that? What that was like, the experience?
Well, sure I do. It was, kind of excited. Had never been to California before.
Was it a lot different from Ringo, Louisiana?
Oh, sure, it was a lot different because this was a big city. That was a small town.
Do you remember the thoughts you had as far as before you moved out here? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Were you scared?
No, I wasn't sad. What? No, I wasn't. I wasn't sad. I wasn't nervous when I came here.
You were just ready to make a change.
Hmm?
You were ready to make a change?
Yeah, my mother was already here, and I had other family members already here. I was happy. I wouldn't have left home if I hadn't, wanted to come to California.
Now, where did you first live when you moved here in 1947?
1691 West Jefferson.
My
Right
memory is
between
good.
Normandy
She's got a
and
good memory.
Western.
Is that a house or apartment?
It was a house.
A house. And how long did you live there for?
I lived there 2 years.
How was the neighborhood when you moved there? Like, what was the
Nice neighborhood.
What kind of was it? Predominantly, was it mixed races? Was it white?
No, not right here on West Jefferson at that time. Not right in the house where I was living. No, it was just of us. There was no other race of people in the house there where I was living.
I heard that.
When I come to
Immigration, all
California,
these
places
other
were
races
very hard to
coming
get,
in.
especially if you
Taking
had
over.
children. They didn't want you. But this lady had a place that she could rent out, and she didn't mind me having my two girls.
So, but all you knew was it was hard for people to get a place back then.
Oh, you mean here in Los Angeles?
Yes.
We're cheering.
Yes.
We're cheering. The people didn't, a lot of people didn't take you when you had children.
What were the people like that were around you that lived? Were the Jewish, Polish, Italian, Mexican in Jefferson when you got to Jefferson?
Oh no, it wasn't too many. It wasn't too many. It was mixed race. It was mixed over there. It was different. It was mixed. Some few people's.
It was black, white, Mexican.
Well, I don't think there was any Mexican. No Mexican right in there at that time.
There wasn't any.
No.
So it was just black and white.
There's most right in there where I lived in the same block. It was mostly just us, and our race of people was mostly right in that block where I was. But between Western, there was Hobart coming between there. It was some of the other people lived in that area. There was a store right there by they owned that, and there was quite a few of them in there.
And then you stayed there for 2 years. Do you remember those 2 years? Was it hard for your husband to find the work as working in construction, or did he find work right away?
He found it. It wasn't just too long, and after he worked a few years in construction, he started working for the city then.
And then how come you after 2 years you moved to where? After 2 years living on Jefferson.
I moved to 115th Street in Watts.
And that's what city is that? Watts or is that Los Angeles? That city, is it still Los Angeles?
It's Los Angeles.
And why did you move?
Cause I was rooming. I had a house. I could get a house there for me and my children.
Okay, so you guys.
I roomed at the time when I went to West Jefferson.
Oh, okay. You guys.
Cause people were hard to find. Places were hard to find if you had children. But this person would rent to you with children.
Okay. So it was your family plus a woman that lived there.
Beg your pardon?
You said the person that rented. Okay, so you bought a house in Watts on 101st.
I didn't tell you that. I didn't buy no house in Watts. I rented a house in
rented.
Watts. I bought the house here.
And okay, so how long did you live on the house on 101st and Watts?
7.5 years.
I thought she got some good memory to be
How was
96.
that living there? Did you enjoy your time there? What area
Oh, sure, I enjoyed myself. I had my own house.
And then you moved here after that.
No, I moved to 76th Place after that and stayed there a year and a half. Then got this place, and I've been in this place since then.
Okay, so after 101st and Watts, you went where?
Hmm?
After the Watts, where did you move?
76th Place, right down from that big school there. What's the name of it, time? Oh, she's not there anymore. Okay. But anyways, on 76th Place, I stayed there about a year and a half, and then this place was available. The guy was gonna get rid of it, and I got this place, and I've been right here ever since.
And so, what year was that when you moved here to this house on 42nd? What's the address here?
149 West 47th Street.
And then, do you remember what year you were here? Was it 1957?
I moved here on the 12th day of December 1958.
You remember the exact
Her
date?
memory is
Sure, I
good.
remember.
Wow.
Been right here ever since. When this child was talking to you now, she wasn't here when I moved here. She was born since I've been here.
Wow.
So you can see how long I've been here. Prince and all of them wasn't in existence when I moved here.
Now, how was in this neighborhood when you first moved out here?
Oh, it was a beautiful place. This neighborhood was so nice. There's only about 3 or 4 of us in here when I moved up here, in here.
Wow.
3 or 4 black families?
That's right.
What were the other families?
Now look, I got to go and try to remember all those people's names. They lived up and down these
Do
streets.
you remember,
Yeah,
were
it's
they,
the cousins
what
now.
was the, because you said, was it just white?
No, they was us. It was some of our race of people. Well, I was just those were the people that lived here then.
Okay, wait, but you said there was like Jewish and Italians and.
Well, these Jewish. This house right direct in front of me was Jewish people.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Italians as well.
Yeah, I don't. I guess they were what it was. Like, they wasn't any of us.
And so were there gates up in 1958 here? Were there iron fences and how was the neighborhood? Was this paved?
Yes, it paid.
Were there fences up like there's like a lot of these gates?
This didn't have no fence at all around it when I moved here.
No fence.
No fence.
What about there's gates on the windows now? All around the neighborhood it's like that. You know how they have the gates on front of the windows so people can't get in?
You mean you mean bars on the
Yeah,
windows? Is that what
bars.
you're talking about?
Yeah, bars.
Well, no, they wasn't. You didn't see no bars in them days, hardly ever. You didn't see no bars around windows in them days, hardly ever. When I moved in here, there wasn't no bars. You didn't see bars. Not only here, no, you didn't see a bars like you do now.
So how was the crime back then?
The what?
Crime.
Oh, it wasn't as bad as it is now.
What was it? But what was crime back then? Was it just?
I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what it was, but it's worse now than it was then. I can tell you that much.
So were there?
I mean, I hear about more of it now than I did at that time.
Right. So there weren't really gangs or graffiti.
Oh, well, I ain't gonna say there wasn't any, but it wasn't like it is now.
When do you think that started to change from 1950 after 1958?
I'm not gonna try to. I'm not gonna try and say because I see a lot of changes made, but I don't remember what years and all it was made. But the worst one I remember say after I got here was the Watts Rock. The rock was here. That's the worst one after I moved here. The worst one that I had seen yet.
The Rodney King riot.
Yes.
Wow. She saw
were
that.
people? Was that close by to here?
Beg pardon?
Was that close by the riots?
Well, they come going all down our nice places down here on Broadway at that time.
That is amazing.
Wow.
She was lived to see that.
I didn't know it was that close to where you lived.
Well, I got to stand right on the porch and look at the flame, that flame bunny going up in flame.
Wow.
What did you think about that at the time?
Well, I know it was bad, and ain't nothing else I could think about. It was just such a bad thing to happen to a city.
All right, that was 1992. But did that when as the neighborhood started changing? Did you see it, or did it just feel like it happened like all at once when the neighborhood changed?
No, everything just changed, or it won't gradually change.
And when things gradually change, does it feel? I don't know what that feels like. To me, it feels like it's not as impactful as if something changed right away. Like when did you see? Because now the neighborhood is predominantly Mexican and black. Correct? Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
When did the Jewish family move out and other races move out?
What you say about
When
that?
did the other races start moving out?
I don't know. I didn't keep up with the time. I just know, different times people moved, sold, put it up for sale, or sold, or moved, or things like that. But that about it.
So the riots were kind of right around your birthday. Is that about right?
Yeah, I think. Well as I know when they were. It was in July, I think, when that riot was. June, July? I don't know. I don't remember. Huh?
No, she said the worst ones were the Rodney King ones. There were more riots. There were 65. There was riots too.
Yeah.
I think it was in 1955 when the riot was. I'm not sure. I think so.
65.
What are the names of your children?
Beg your pardon?
The names of your children.
What you say about the children?
The names of your daughters.
Oh, my Essie Riley, and Desi Tyson. Those are my two girls.
And then you have grandchildren too.
Yes, I have grandchildren now. You know that.
Yeah, I know, but other people may not know that.
You know what? I'm gonna soon bring this to a close, okay?
All right, how many
counting
grandchildren and great grandchildren do you have? You know how many grandchildren and great grandchildren you have?
Well, sure I know how many grandchildren I have. You
How many is that?
how many grandchildren I have? I have five.
All right, as we bring this to a close, let's just talk about like some of your thoughts. You're gonna see again 97 in May. What are some thoughts that come across your head? Because a lot of people don't make it to 80 or 70 or 60. Or there was a NFL player died yesterday. He was 23 years old.
Who died?
Baltimore Ravens cornerback.
Oh.
He got in a motorcycle accident.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't make it to be 97, much less a little bit younger than that. What are your thoughts on life overall? Like as you look back, what are some things that you would tell people that maybe you didn't know before that you know now, or just some advice?
All I have to tell anybody, trust in the Heavenly Father. Say your prayers. Treat everybody right because you have a right to do that. Don't do nothing to nobody you don't want done to yourself.
Let's argue with that
Trust
part.
in the prayer in the Heavenly Father. And if you do that, treat everybody right. Trust in Him. You won't have too many problems. I haven't had too many.
How long have you trusted?
Ever since I was 15 years old, I've been on the battlefield. And I'm going to stay on there till He calls me home. I'm going to treat everybody right.
Yeah. Now, as we can see, a lot of the elders, they what's the word I'm looking for? They're very colonized, so they keep going back to the religion, which we already know. The indigenous Indians was us. The colonists taught us about Christianity and all that, so we very colonized. and that's very hard to get that through the elders' head. Like, 'cause, like, if you tell like this other person that, they're gonna get real mad. But as a younger generation, we know a lot of us know in our awakening, and we know that that Bible is not real. We know that. We know that that Bible was pushed on us. But we know a lot of the Disney elders, they hold that Bible real firm. And I feel like this generation, we are waking up from a lot of the colonization tools that's being pushed on us. But I do agree with her when she was saying treat everybody how you want to be treated. I definitely agree with that. That's just nature. Period. That's the law of nature. You don't do nothing bad that you don't want to come back on you. You feel me?
Because you have a right to do that. And that's been my motto all the time. I'm not going to do anything to anybody I don't want done to me. Because everybody have feeling like I have. I'm going to say my prayers. I'm going to treat everybody right. And that's do that until Jesus called me home.
So you're a Christian?
All I really is. Believe in the Heavenly Father. I didn't come this far by myself. He brought me here.
You think if you didn't have the belief that you'd be able to be here right now?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say that because it's not in my hands. I'm not the judge of that. I just know what I've been doing and what I'm going to continue to do till he called me home.
Is there anything else you'd like to add for people to know?
Beg your pardon?
Anything else you want to add?
No, not anything else I have to add. No more to you. Always say your prayers. Always look to the Heavenly Father. Don't do nothing to nobody you don't want done to you. Say your prayers every night and look to the Heavenly Father.
Thank you so much.
And you have a beautiful little girl. Be a good father.
Yeah, there it is. She said a lot of impactful gems. Like, if people was paying attention, she said a lot of good gems. And this is the third video of me showing the indigenous elders speaking on their life. And I don't know what it is. It's always the women that's more connected. I feel like they're real connected with family. I always see the women talking about their life more. I feel like they're just connected. We don't give a lot of credit to the females. Like if God, if for people always say guys that he, which never made sense to me because the female is the one that bears life. Without that female, you're not having any kids being produced. So I feel like the woman is the most powerful of creation than the man. I always would say that. But yeah, we got this third video of the indigenous elders speaking. I'm gonna try to find some more because I love these videos when the elders is speaking their mind and telling a lot of the truth. And when it's good to see this type of stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna try to find more videos like this, and I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Peace.
You got me wearing your clothes, head to toe and below. Peace in the wrong, bone show. And I could guess where your head is, not to be premature. I like the way we come. You got me wearing your clothes, head to toe and below. Beating croissants, bone show. And I could guess where your head is, not to be premature. I like the way we come. I like the way we fit together, like the way you grip me. Hugging me like patent leather, melting me like ice cream. I like the symmetry, yeah. I like the symmetry. Are we falling in my trip and are we feeling tipsy? Where we leaning on each other, feel like Bun and Pimpsy. I think you're into me, yeah. I think you're into me. And we try to play it cool a little more. Yeah. When we miss each other's up and down, yeah. We're gonna try to work it out. I think we know we're both in trouble. You got me wearing your clothes, head to toe and below. Peace in the wrong, bone show. But I could guess where your head is, not to be premature. I like the way we come. You got me wearing your clothes, head to toe and below. Beating croissants, bone show. But I could guess where your head is, not to be premature. I like the way we come talk. for you on the stove. You got 3 days before it's going to Goodwill.